All right, this is the last one that we're going to do here, to do number 5, and it says write a loop that asks the user for 10 different numbers, print the average of all the numbers, but only of the numbers that were odd. So I know this is going to repeat 10 times, so I think what I'm going to start by is I'm just going to use a for loop, for I in range 10. It's a determinate loop because I know it's going to run 10 times. I don't need a while loop. That would be if I didn't know how many times it was going to run. So I know I'm going to take in 10 test scores, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to only keep track of the odd numbers that they enter in, and the even numbers I'll just ignore them. So before my loop, I'm going to create a couple variables. One is going to be the odd sum, and right now the odd sum is 0, and then at the end I would say like odd count, and that should start at 0 as well. So I'm going to count how many odd numbers they enter, and I'm going to keep track of their sum. We'll say here again next num, and we'll use an input function to take input from the user, enter a number. And now I'll start doing my filtering, right? I have a loop, and now I'm going to filter it out. If next num is even or is odd, how do we know if it's odd? Well, we can use modulus again, and if we do mod 2, even numbers, when I divide them by 2, they have a remainder of 0, but all odd numbers, they're not equal to 0, they're equal to 1. So this would mean that next num was odd, and so we'll go through and we'll say, okay, if it was odd, which if the number entered was odd, what should I do? Well, I'm going to add it, odd sum plus equals whatever next number is. Next number there. And then I need to count whatever the odd count was is going to go up by 1. That way I know how many odd numbers were entered. Okay? So I go through that. If they're even, I just want to skip it. I'm just going to ignore them. But after this loop is done, then I want to calculate the average. So I'm going to say average equals whatever the odd sum was divided by the odd count. So I'll calculate the average, and then I will print out the average of all the odds was, and then let's go ahead and cast this as a string, the average, and use concatenation to print out that statement. Okay, so let's go ahead and try to run it. I think this is going to work pretty good. To keep it simple, let's see here. What do we have going on here? To-do list, main. Oh, let's run this again. Enter a number. There it goes. Okay, so let's just do all odd numbers. If we make them all 3. Oh no, what happens? Not all arguments converted during string formatting. So next num mod equals 2. Well, what's happening there is I'm asking them for a number, and then I'm trying to see if that thing divided by 2 has a remainder of 1. But I didn't remember that I need to convert the user input, which is text, over to an integer. So let's go ahead and use the int function to convert it to an integer, and then try it again, and hopefully I won't make that mistake again. Let's see here. Probably some other mistake. Let's see. 3, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. It asked me for 10 integers. They were all 3, so that the average was easy to calculate. The average is 3, and the average of all the odds was 3. Looks great. Let's try it again. I'm going to run it this time. It says enter a number, and this time I'm going to enter in some evens. So 4, 8, 6, 4, 2, 6, 4, 4, 4, 4. Ooh, and I get an error here. I entered in all even numbers, so the odd sum should have been 0 and the odd count should have been 0. And then when I get down to this piece, odd sum divided by odd count, I get a division by 0 error. So I want to make sure that that doesn't happen. I could probably put this in an if-else statement. So I say like if odd count is equal to 0, just print out, I'll copy that and I'll say the average of all the odds was, and I know they didn't enter any, so 0. I could just say, I could just put 0 there and say the average of all the odds was 0. Otherwise, so else, then I'll calculate and print the average there inside the else. So that will prevent that from happening. Let's double check, make sure that works. And I should be able to 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, all even numbers, and it prints out the average of all the odds was 0, which it was. They didn't enter any. We can try it again one last time here. 4, 4, 4, 4, 5, 4, 4, 9, 0, and 26. The average was 7. So let's see here. 5 is odd and 9 was odd. 5 plus 9 is 14. There were only 2 odds entered. Divided by 2 is 7. That looks pretty good. Okay, I think that works. So this is to-do number 5 for today. This is practice using an accumulator, right? Where I'm accumulating the sum and the count. And then I'm also filtering out using a conditional statement. So just another application of using a loop. Hopefully that helps.